Hello there, folks. It's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. It's mid-evening. This is the final turn of Maharaja, turn 16. Looks like we're up for a majestic end here. The point scores are quite close. It ranges from 77 points to 84 points. There's only a 7-point spread. 77 points for the green guys, 78 points for the purple, 82 for the blue, and 80 for the yellow. The yellow have been in the lead all game, but can they hold that lead? I'm not going to do a sort of starting review of the points on the hoof. I'll do it as we get to each nation, but every nation still out there has an opportunity to score some points. So let's find out what happens. All right. One only point of review is that right now the factories and the colonial arms. The only colonial arm on the board is the green one. The Portuguese arms granted to the Mughals. That's still legit. They're sharing factories. There's Portuguese armies on the board. There are no French armies left. No French arms. There is a Dutch factory. They could potentially go and give arms this turn, but the arms wouldn't show up till next turn, so that's useless. The British have never had a chance to grant arms. They could have more aggressively figured out a way to wheel and deal with someone, or maybe try to force some other nation to submit, but they haven't done it. We'll see if that was a mistake in strategy or not, but British are at 6 armies. They can grow in their turn, reinforce back up to 6, and they do have a major invasion. Major invasion. There are no new leaders coming on. Clive, the British leader, is here. If anyone attacks here, he can fight. But, yeah, not likely. But no new leaders are coming on. So, let's get started. We're looking up the beginning. Gone, gone, gone. Marathas are the first guy. Turn 16. Remember, these are all at the end of the very game. So, the fact that the British go last and the British have a major invasion, all these points for the other guys are up in the air as whether they'll still be able to hold them. So 1 in each other area, or two in each other area, and 3 for Marathas. They've got just 2 guys. They can grow 1 point a pop. It is not enough. You know, they had that thing last turn. They were trying to get, Bidar, swap it with the Muslims. The dice were not kind to them. It would have been effective if it had worked. They would have been able to grow 1 more point, have another army, and potentially score extra 2 points, and it didn't happen. So, doesn't sound like to me, from the blue player strategy, from the Maharajas, that they want to move with these Marathas. By sitting here, they're protecting the French factories. That's still potentially 4 points for the French. The Marathas can get there 3 for 5 points. Yeah, it's not worth it for them to try to attack anywhere, not to piss anyone off, just squat. So, boom. Marathas are done. Cholas are gone. Marians, Harpins, Sinhalese, here they are. No, that's the Dutch. Sitting in their little thing. They got a half point, so they're not growing. Again, they just want to squat. They can get points for... Uh-oh, we have a focus problem here. There we go. Lanka and Simhala. The Brits are sitting in Lanka. That's the odds of taking it and holding it are ridiculously small. So Simhala, they can always submit here if the British or anyone else come after him. So they'll, if they submit, like to the Brits could still get Raj points for that territory. But since the Brits would have to retreat, the Sinhalese will control this at the end because they can submit no matter what. So they're guaranteed 2 points. So they don't want to move. Not very exciting yet so far, huh? Let's move on. The Sikhs. This is another case. The Sikhs. The Sikhs have 1 point of pop growth. They got nothing. Sikhs do have ability to kill Mughal armies, so they could go fight, but they get 2 points for Lahore and Punjab. If they give up, go and attack someone, they give up 1 province so they could try to go take Lahore. It would be a gutsy move. But if they die, Yeah, they're not there. They're an ally of the Brits. They're not given the Raj points for controlled territories. So yeah, if they had 2 armies, yeah, it'd be worth it to try to go take Lahore maybe. But right now, no, they're going to sit there with a plan to submit. Not as exciting as we thought. The Rajputs are next. It's the same old thing. We discussed some of this at the last turn, some of these guys' strategies. And again, this is part of the submission system here in Maharaja that seems a little wacky to me, a little off. Again, if I learn more about the ebb and flow and the history of this region, maybe it'll make much more sense. This kind of thing might have happened all the time. Oh, don't hurt us. We give up. We submit. Oh, we fighting them back the next turn or whatever. Who knows? Rajputana, Agra, Delhi, Gujarat, Malwa, Uda. They are in Delhi and Rajputana. So 2 points, 3 points here, turn 16. So again, they're the point. They don't get any points other than Muslims. Now, okay, here's some action. Muslims are right there. All right? Muslims are right there. They can go and attack. The problem is if they go and attack and take that square, then they're not down at 3. If then someone attacks their higher point place, like Rajputana, they could not submit then. They might lose that province. Now, it is 2 points per Muslim army. Two. So maybe they're willing to give up Delhi, potentially. There's a strategy. There's a strategy. Give up Delhi completely. Give up the 1 point. Come in here, say, with 3 armies. Yep. The plan is to come in with 3 armies, try to kill these guys. If they kill 1 and they retreat, they've given up 1 point but gained 2. If they kill both guys, they've gained 4 and they give up 1 point. This, to me, sounds like a good plan. All right? This, I mean, they could just send in 1 each here. They could try to fight and say, I'm going to retreat. But if they went in with 2 armies, they could win that square. They could lose it, etc. But I'm going to actually give up Delhi, believe it or not. And the Rajputs are going to charge ahead with 3 armies, trying to defeat their long-term foes. It's been so long that they fought them up in the early days. They haven't been able to strike back, and now they're in the big ending grudge match. So 3 attacking dice needing 5 or 6, 2 dice for the Muslims needing 5 or 6. Let's see what happens. Oh, well, that didn't work too well, did it? The Muslims are like, ain't gonna happen today. Well, so again, this is a silly thing. The Rajputs could stay and fight and say, look, if I retreat to Rajputana, I'm going to submit if someone comes in to get my 2 points. I'm down my Delhi thing. But if I stay, I still have a 1/3 chance of scoring 2 points. Boy, the Muslims might decide to retreat because of that. It's like, no. I can come and counterattack later. They couldn't counterattack here because they could submit here. Now, well, let's see. What's Malwa? Malwa is a point. Now, someone else got some bigger points for Delhi. So they're giving up potentially other points bigger. But, yeah, I don't think the Muslims want to retreat. Because, yeah, the Rajputs could stay in Malwa. They could get their point. They'd be as good as they were before. And the Muslims would be out those points. Well, the Muslims are actually all back to South India. This is that weird. Mysore, what the heck is going on? Why? Way down there for 3 and 1 point for the point in South India. So actually they're going to abandon that anyway. So they should retreat. Let them have their points. The Rajputs could hurt the Muslims and actually gain extra points. They lost Delhi, but they took Malwa. yeah, we're going to retreat. Now the question is, if we retreat here, they're cut off. I mean, these are diagonal square here. Those do not connect. Muslims do not get points for killing anybody. Portuguese gets points. Again, they're way over there. They don't want to get too close. Muslims want to, yeah, I don't think they want to retreat here. They want to be here to maybe come, well, obviously going to say they're going to fight for this or something. They want more South India points, potentially a point each. Like to keep the green guys down. Fighting over this is big and nasty. But yeah, this would be an overstack. They're allowed one overstack. They are going to be overpopulated. They have 7 armies with only 3 territories, but that's at the end of their turn. So they will be able to try to spread out more, fight, potentially lose some dudes. Bum, bum, bum. All right, yep. Okay, so that was a weird move by the Rajputs. It did not work out the way they planned. They didn't score a bunch of points killing Muslims, but they didn't lose any points, but they opened up Delhi for someone else. All right, so that was a little unexpected turn there. All right, Rajputs. No Guptas, the Muslims. It's now the Muslims' turns. All right, so now, so they have 1, 2 areas, 3, they actually can grow, 3 total. They have to spread out. They have to grow, well, let's see. You can have 3 in a clear normally, 2 here normally, 1 overstack. So they could go here as an overstack or here as a normal. They couldn't go here because that would be 3 and 3, that would be 2, overstack the normal amounts. So here, and again, well, unless they're going to just come in here and have a big brouhaha there, which seems like bloody crazy. We're going to put them there. Yeah, where are they going to attack? They could try to deny other people points. Each, for them, South India. South India is the key. They could just try to hurt the Mughals. I mean, obviously the Mughals, it came out of Bharat, they want to keep them out of Bharat. So they want to have as many guys as they can. They could actually like spread out up here just to have more population growth at the end of the turn, and they can try to flood these guys here. Khandesh is not big points for the Mughals. No points for, well, it's another area. But Berar, Bidar, and Gondwa, those big points for the Mughals. So yeah, the Muslims want to be here as strong as they can to keep the Muslims down, and the Mughals down. The Muslims could attack somewhere else and attempt to hurt some Mughals, but let's do that. Well, yeah. They're only going to be able to move 2 guys down here, though, because it's the start there. They couldn't grow because of the guys that retreated there. So that's going to be, dicey. 2 guys rolling for 6 against 1 guy rolling a 5 or 6. And the advantage is they do have 2 units. The first hit, they could still survive and get lucky and roll the 6. So 2 guys against 1 in the Highlands. You do have a slight advantage, but not much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could stay exactly like this if they didn't retreat. They could try to attack a Mughal. Boy, those guys there. Mughali boogly. Bundelkhand. Yeah, that's not one of the Mughal points either under Delhi. Oud. Yeah. Well, they could go 2 against 3. Silly, that's just kind of sacrificial. The Brits can move 3 and attack, but yeah, they don't have enough to bear there. So I think the Muslims are like, this is it. They're making their move. They're going to try to. There's no points for them in this regard. I mean, again, it'd be suicidal to go against 3 of these guys here. But if they can go here and kill a guy and still maintain, you know, they could lose 1 guy, retreat back to where they were. You can always retreat back to where you attacked from. Yeah, they're going to go in with 2. Attacking against 1. Just to see if they can hurt the Mughal. Boom, boom. He loses that guy. So yeah, they did their thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they're not done yet. We're not done yet. All right, so 2 attack dice, the black needing 6s, the 1 brown dice needing a 5 or 6. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, they got lucky. They're doing not bad. They're like, all right, this is a thing. They got 2 armies in Bidar, 2 armies in Burar, 2 armies in Khandesh. That's 3 potential points for them here in South India. There's no way they could have got to Mysore, but they hurt the Mughals. One of their competitor, blue, is at 82, green's only at 77. They're in the bottom, but those Mughal points look like the biggest one. They look like, to me, potentially can score more than the Brits and these guys. I'm not sure, though. I didn't, like, count every single possible point. That is the Muslim turn. Bum, 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 bum. All right, here we are. And it's now the Mughals. All right. Okay, remember, the Mughals are only growing based on South India. They do have 2 guys. They're half a point each. So, unfortunately, they went from 1/2 to 1. They couldn't grow anything. They got factories to defend to help the Portuguese score points. They could kill Clive down here, which the Mughals, they don't have boats. They can't reach, obviously. So their whole thing is Andhra, Delhi, Oud. Okay, so maybe the Rajputs abandoning Delhi was not a good idea. That's worth 3 points to the green guy. The British are going to get to move. British can move through their allies. You can move through your allies. I'm 90% certain I remember reading that. Colonial arms. Alliance with the British. Blah, 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 be declared at any time. Blah, blah, blah. Neither may not attack the British. British can count areas held by allied nations toward Raj points. British armies can move freely through, but not end their turn in areas held by allied nations. The British may build factories in eligible ones, right? Not in the inland. But that means this Brit army could potentially move in to Delhi. So green needs to defend it. So how many different big point spots they got? Andhra, Delhi, Oud. Those are 3 each. So this is obviously, you got a factory, you got terms. That's going to have to look good. Gondal was only 2. So they might leave just 1 or 2 there, depending on what they need to do. Okay, if they move this guy up here to Oud, let's say they're going to leave 3 in Oud. They're going to go to Delhi. Kashmir, Lahore. They kind of like to be spread. Oh, remember, they can get Raj points themselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right there, as long as they don't denude a province. No, did I miscount? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 9. So this guy would have to overrun to have something move through. That would leave too little here. Anyway, the Rajputs would submit. So they're sitting there. They're not going anywhere. So they have to weaken. That's 3. That's 3. That's 3. The Brits only have one guy that can reach it in the first turn of their major invasion. So there's a chance that they could get lucky if they put 2 in each of the 3 pointers. You know, that's what they need to do, I think. Delhi. So in retrospect, thinking about it, that this, you know, there's potential good points hitting Malwa, killing the Muslims for the Rajputs. This does give green a lot more points. Purple's just barely ahead of green. So we'll see. We'll see if that was a good move or a bad move. Maybe they shouldn't have given up Delhi. Not because it only lost them, you know, gave up 1 point, but it's a gain of 3 for the Mughals. It couldn't have otherwise got it if they were going to be submitting there. So this is 2 points. So maybe we just have one guy here. Maybe we put 3 here. The British, no, so you can't. The first round, the second round, who knows? You know, where are they? Yeah, down here, and that leader's going to be gone. Of course, they've got navy moves. So I could go like 1, 2, for the second invasion to Quinlan, or 1, 2, land or hit here. Yeah, these guys, well, they could be fighting here. They could try to take out Portuguese factories, because that's worth 2. They lose the factory and they lose one of the coasts. I gotta remember, the French actually get points for British factory kill. The French can't get that anymore. They haven't any armies. The French don't have any armies. They cannot kill any British factories. So this is interesting. So actually, there's not attacks. These guys are being defensive, but they have a lot of potential points here. Yeah, he's got one guy. Yeah, I think maybe they're going to do this. They're going to have 3, and they're going to have 2 guys here with the factory with the arms. And I keep 3 here because they're just sort of stuck there. They could overrun somewhere, but they'd have to go back. No, yeah, they're just going to stay there. Oh, they could attack the British. Now, the British, they attacked the British and killed that British army. The Brits would get it right back. They could take out the potential factory, but the Brits can potentially rebuild it. So they could, attack in again, kill it, rebuild it. Because they can build 2. They're at 5 right now. They could lose 1, be at 4, potentially build 2 back. 3, 2 plus factory arms. Just leave 1 guy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So they're going to get a Raj points for the Mughals. And they are trying to score some big points here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 points potentially. Oh my gosh. All right. So that is huge. I hadn't actually counted through the potential possibility. Adding Delhi into that, an extra 3. That's crazy talk. The Brits have got to tear in and kill as much as they can. We're going to see what's going to happen, folks. Moving on. The Mughals are done. Portuguese. Green guys. The green guys. That's 6 points in factories sitting there. They can do something here. Again, if they fight the British, though, the British are going to get it back. Now, if a bunch of people jumped on the British, but with these armies in them, it's like just a bloodbath. So they get points for Muslim armies. They cannot reach Muslim armies. Yes, they cannot. They cannot. There's nowhere that they can reach. Blah, 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 blah. So sitting there in Mysore doesn't make much sense to me. So I'm totally game to move that one. The Mughals should be strong enough, hopefully, to defend that factory for them. Mughals there, their arms probably. So I think they're just gonna come over here, and instead of they could try a lower odds attack against the Dutch. They're yeah. Yeah, I just think they like protect this. This is, you know, an extra potential 6 points to tack on to those Mughals plus their Raj points. That's crazy talk. Yeah. All right. So the Portuguese are done. Dutch. Same thing. They got nothing new. They got their 4 points potentially for factories. They just don't want to do anything and risk anything. It's very interesting. Everyone stagnates, and the Brits like, woohoo, last hurrah. Let's see what's going to happen. I mean, the Mughals are scoring big points. And this is the British time. Can they overcome that? Right now, the Dutch are still in the lead. But if the green gets 20 points, they're up to 97. Yellow is up to getting like for 6 points, 90. So you'd have to knock green down by half those Mughal points. 10, 87. And you have to kill one of the... So yeah, you could potentially, if you eliminated half of the potential Mughal points as the Brits, and knocked out one of the Portuguese factories, the yellow guys, the Dutch, could actually beat the Greens. But what about the purple? They're at 78. Are they going to score enough points? We'll see. Yep, Dutch, squatting. Boring, but they just want every single point they can get. All right. The French have no armies. The French can't do nothing. They got their factories. They can't build new ones. There's nothing there. So they're potentially going to get their 4 points if the Marathas can potentially defend that. They're at 82. They're in second place, but, you know, Marathas, 3, 4, 5 points potentially. Muslims, 1, 2, 3 points, 8. The French, 4 points, 12. 94. So 90 for yellow. So the blue should be able to surpass the yellow by the end of the turn. Unless the British, you know, depending on who they kill, who they knock down. But they need to score enough. So we're there. Yeah, the French are saying that's it. Can't do nothing, right? This is it. This is the British turn. Clive is removed. The leader. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 armies. They can reinforce back to 6. That's all they got. They don't get nothing. They have a major invasion. They don't reinforce in the second half of the minute. So this is it, what they've got to attack with, but they do get to move twice. They can score Raj points. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factories. Currently, that's 8 points worth. Get another one, there'll be 9 points worth. Sikhs are definitely going to get their points, right? The Brits are not going to attack the Sikhs. The Sikhs are going to get Punjab. Let's, you know, mark that down now. So the 2 points for the Sikhs under purple. The Rajputs, same thing. The British aren't going to attack the Rajputs. Rajputana and Malwa, that's 3 points. So they're up to 81. They're still in third place with their points we can count on. This is going to be very close. If they can get their 9th point of factory, depending, you can get it 1, 2, 3. Can they get 27 point? territories. Remember, everything that's empty, not in the foreign areas, but everything here that's empty, they will get to count for points. So they don't mind blasting through, killing as much as they can, denuding the landscape, leaving sort of unclaimed territories, because that's going to swear allegiance to them anyway. So, wow, 3. Man, no one gets points for killing British armies, right? British factories. Yeah, there's no one around currently. So they don't mind losing armies to any particular person. They don't need to kill off. They don't get points for killing any particular person. Who can submit or not? They can't force. Well, again, that's only worth 1. 5, 8. Right now, if they don't grow another factory, 8, 11, 89. Almost, yeah. If the Dutch don't lose anything, 6, 80, 90. We're at 90. So, wow, is that right? Was the British really that fine? Purple, 5 points, 83. 5 plus 8 for the factories. 91. Yes. Okay. So they're going to get a minimum of 8 points for their factories, right? They can't lose anymore. As long as they take one more coastal area, they can grow one more factory. So they're going to get 8 points for factories. These 5 here, 11, 89. So they are going to surpass yellow. Even if they don't hit, what it means is they do not need to hit the Dutch. They can't stop the Sinhalese from scoring 2. Yellow player is going to get 6 points. Purple is going to surpass them. So they do not have to worry about hurting them. Okay? They need to worry about hurting blue and green. Blue has, right there, right now, no points, right? Yet. The Marathas, submission. Submit if reduced to 2 areas. They could submit. But then those factories would be protected, I guess, right? The other player would have to retreat if they submitted. Or is there some weird special chrome rule about how they could go on and beat on the factories? Defending armies eliminated. Destroy all defending armies and choose to coexist. Maybe under the submit rules. Sorry for this, folks. I should have maybe reviewed this myself earlier. Cleared after any battle, blah, 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 blah. Any armies outside the regions, blah, 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 blah. Free to still attack those. If the attacking nation has another movement phase, major invasion, attacking armies can move freely through but not end a turn. Interesting. So if they submitted, they wouldn't be able to fight and kill the factories, but then they could then move through, which it's Hillens, it doesn't mean it. Okay, so, yeah. Marathas aren't going to get attacked by the British. Doesn't make sense to attack there. They just submit. The Muslims. They submitted for 2 more areas. So they have 3 areas in the south. If they lose one, they could submit, but blue, blue, blue. Yeah, so 1, 2 points for the Marathas, 4 factory points for the French, 5, 6. I'm not going to write it down right now because it's not 100% certain the British still could decide to attack them. Yeah, Muslims, right now they're on track to score a whopping 3 points in South India. So 3, 4, 5. I'm going to write this down lightly here, or underneath the next line down. What did I say? 1, 2. Wow, you can't see that. I'm not putting in the right spot. 1, 2, 3 points for the Muslims, 2 for the Marathas, 5, 4 points, 9. So the blue guys are on line to score 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're looking to have 91. Yellow, if they're not attacked, 4, 2 for their plus 2, are looking to be at 90. Green, we know, can score a huge amount of points, just potentially up to 20 points. They're getting 1 for Raj points. The Portuguese have 3 factories, up to 6 points there. So it is absolutely critical that they knock them down and score at least 92 points so they can beat the blue. 5, if they get the extra factory, right? So 5, 13, 14 is 92, or they get at least 1 Raj point. But you then have to, take out more than half of the Mughal points. So anyway, that's what they have to do. So they do not need to attack yellow. They do not need to attack blue. They can score at least 92 points. And it's just the question is, can the green have it? So Portuguese. So this here, it's a potential bloodbath, but it's a lot of points. Andra is 3 points. And it's a factory, so that's 2 points because of the factory itself and accounting for one of the 3 coasts. So that's 5 points taken out, but that's not enough by itself. Going up here, it's going to be bloody. They could get there with potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they can sail out 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Come straight in. Boom. They could come here. They could have... Well, they can only have 4. You can only go into max 4. All right? Max 4. Max 4 in a Hillens. They'd be needing 6s to hit because of the Hillens. But they're adding 1, so they'd hit on a 5 or 6s. The Mughals and the factory would normally need to hit on a 6 because they're British. They're a colonial power. But they're getting +1 from the arms. So they're both hitting 5. So if they went in with 4 armies, they would have that slight advantage. 4 versus 3. They could take that. But that would only be a 5-point turnaround. Can they do more beforehand hitting elsewhere? Now over here, these are Portuguese armies. Those are hard to hit. So that's not nice. There's 3 guys here, but that's in the clear. They could have 3 armies come out here. 1, 2, 3. They could land. Oh, and they have another guy here. They could hit here. So that's a factory and a coast is 2 points. But that's only worth 1 point for the Mughals. But then they'd have all these guys here that they could go boom. Next turn, running across their allies and jump on Delhi and Oud at 3 and 3 and try to kill them. What do they do here with these guys? I'm liking this plan. I mean, they could try to suicide here. Nah, I don't like that idea. 1, 2. If they're here, they can penetrate. They could go ahead and try to kill the Muslim. Again, that's like non-points. Well, it does. It clears a territory. Clears a territory, which then will Raj points for them. Right now, they have, assuming they kill this, they're going to build a factory there. They'll have their 6 factories, 3 coasts, 9 points. Other points, at least 1 point for Raj. Can they do it? Can they do this? Do they? Yeah, see, that's just too bloody. They would definitely lose those armies, almost certainly. Not really. 1 or 2, they have 3. Yeah, they'd be at a disadvantage because it's they're hitting back on 5 or 6. This actually makes more sense with the push through here. Oud and Delhi. Who else was worth more points? They're not in Berar. They're not in Badar. Gondua. Boom, Gondua. There's the target. There is a target. All right. And once they're here, they can hit Oud here. So 2 Brits going at Gondua. Gondua is worth 2 points. Sailing out to sea. All right, we got the final action coming up here, folks. We're at 41 minutes of the final turn. This is Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. Mid-evening here, finishing up the final majestic turn of Maharaja. 1, 2, bonk. 3, 2. Yep. Just Master Blaster. Now, they could say, hey, I got 3, and I hit on 4, 5, 6s. They only hit on 6. I should probably kill those. He could come through and try to hit instead something else, which that's only worth a point. I think they want to definitely kill this. You know, they want to try to kill it in 1 or 2 turns, wiping out as much as they can. Hopefully not lose more than 1 if they're lucky, and then have enough to come through. And again, they're moving through their allies. They don't have to leave any of them behind. There's another overrun issue. It's just charging in there. Anything that survives here will be hitting there. Boom. All right. So they are doing it. 4 here. 4 here. Let's do the little battle first. We'll keep it a little more suspenseful. So the Brits get to add 1. Normally you need a 6 to hit in the Highlands. They need a 5 or 6. These guys need a 6 to hit back because it's a colonial power. So the attacking dice, the black dice, hits on 5 or 6. 6 on the brown dice. Miss, miss. Those Mughals. Well, the advantage of retreating is they could retreat 2 here. And they can go to an empty space. The Brits do not have anything else adjacent to that. That ally does not count. They'd have to overrun that. They could stay and try to kill a guy, but again, they only have a 1 in 6 chance. I think it makes sense to retreat. You know, the British pushed them out. They're not going to get those 2 points for Gondua, but it's another area 1 point. And so the Brits missed their chance. They had 2 1/3 shots. They failed to get that guy. Let's do the big battle now. 4 colonial British armies, adding 1 to their die roll, normally needing 5s or 6s to hit on regular dudes. They're hitting on 4 5s or 6s. We don't need to differentiate the defenders because the factory hits back normally, doesn't get a bonus. Those are non-colonials. So it's 4 defenders that need a 6 and 4 attackers that need a 4, 5, or 6. This could be a bloodbath or a total switch. All right, so, they only got 1 hit. They rolled a bunch of 3s. They're only adding 1, and they got 1 hit. So 1 Mughal loss, 1 British loss. There's no place to retreat for the Mughals, so they stay and fight. Each side is down to 4 dice. The same thing, a 6 On the brown dice, 4 5s or 6s. On the black dice, that means they can't roll 3s. They roll 4 5 6 better. Bum, bum, bum. All right. One hit there. One hit there. Again, it's not looking good for the British. They're getting engaged here in Gujarat. It's a very bloody war for them. The Mughals their morale's high. They're holding out with the help of the Portuguese factory. Well, let's see. One, two, three. The Brits could retreat. I think the Brits they came from sea. They can have one guy here, or one guy came from there. They could retreat one to here, and saying, "Hey, after this major, screw that." But it's like it's 2 points. It's 3 total here for this guy, and it's another 3-point province, right? Because it's 2 points less for the Portuguese, 1 point less. Other area, 1 point less for the Mughals. Boy, that focus sometimes focuses well and sometimes doesn't. They might as well stay and fight. It's a big, bloody battle. Again, 4, 5, or 6 on the black dice, 6s on the brown dice. Oh my God. This is a major Mughal victory. Wow. So let's assume that that's the guy that survived. It's like, oh no, dang. Well, does it make sense? They're going to have 2 from here that can't get anywhere. There's 2. Yeah, see, that's 3 points. This is 3 points. Where can they go? What can they do? Well, they're going to be able to, they could try to suicide here. It's going to be the last move. They could suicide here. They could go against here. That's 1 point. These guys, So what do you think? The Mughals, but it's the Portuguese factory between those. It's like, we want to take this Portuguese factory. Plus, they need to have a coastal area for themselves to get that extra point. So they're going to stay. They're going to try to get lucky. Again, they're hitting on a 4, 5, or 6 on the black die. 6. They have rolled bad, right? They have 3 times as much chance of hitting. 3 out of 6. Excuse me. And only 1 6 for the defending guys. They're going to stay and try to fight to the bloody end. All right. They finally missed, but they missed. So we just keep dicing like here. They finally... No, that's the defender. They did get a hit here. Okay. So now it's down to the factory only. Factory needs a 6. The Brit needs a 4, 5, or 6 still. They got it. All right. So, but that was painful. All right. So, so they can build their factory now. This is their first turn of the major invasion. Includes the factory phase. I'm assuming. I hope that's true. Or you just get movement, combat phase. I'm gonna assume that they can build this factory. I'm gonna give it to them, and then they move on. That makes a little more sense to me, but I may be wrong. I might have to review that. But wow, the British messed up big time. So do they try to get lucky, or they go for just some points? Here we might as well, let's figure it out. In here, they would hit on a 5 or 6. Because of the arms, they normally hit a 6, they'd hit on 5 or 6. 3. They're already starting down to under. This is worth 5 points, though. This is another loss of a thing. 5 points. They're big underdogs, but what else can they do? This they can get 1 point less for the guys there, right? So again, you probably wouldn't do this in the real world, like, sacrifice yourself. This is the weird game, and this is where, end of game stuff is kind of weird. It might make sense to, like, maintain at least X number of armies at the end to get some point, or something like that, I might, I might add something like that in the design like this so that this doesn't happen at the end. But because it's exciting and fun for you guys, we're going to do that here. And we're going to go for it here. They have a, they have a 4, 5, 6 chance to hit. They can only hit on 6. They're going to try it. They're going to, go for the glory for Queen and Country. I don't know. This time, is it Queen Victoria at this point? 1800 to 1850. So let's do it. Let's do this battle here first. Again, the Mughals here and here, but they came from there, so they're going to be able to retreat to there no matter what. That rule about not going into an empty if someone else, that doesn't apply. That applies to the defender, not the attacker. The attacker can always go back to their square. All right, so it is 2 attacking dice, 3 dice for the defender. They're undifferentiated. They're all, regular armies or factories, basically needing a 6 against the colonial power, but they got arms. And they do still have arms. The factories right there, and the Portuguese have armies on the ground. So the arms are still in effect. This has been critical. The Portuguese, that could be part of their win. They managed that aspect of the game well. So because of the Brits, they add 1 for the black die. You need a 6 in the Highlands. 5 or 6s for both sides. All right. The defender has the big advantage, but they're just going for the glory. They're going to try it. It's worth 5 potential points if they get lucky. They got unlucky before. No. No. Adding 1 because of the arms does make it a 6. Boom, boom. The Brits are gone. This, yes, folks, the sun does set on the British Empire. It is setting right now. This is very ahistorical. Be interesting to see what the final score is. And, oops, the final attempt to... Oh, my God, I'm dropping dice. Nope. Wow. All right, so going against Delhi, black die, adding 1, normally needing a 5 or 6. It's up to 4, 5, 6. Needing 6s with the 2 Mughals. So, yeah, 4, 5, 6 versus 6s. Miss. Yeah, there's no reason for the Mughal to retreat now. They want to try to stay and kill this Brit and hold on to that. Boy, I don't even know what the Brit... They can't retreat 2 squares. They have to fight. they came to the danger of going through your allies. All right, so they did get a hit. They got 1. So they now have a chance. They're hitting on a 4, 5, or 6. The defender needs a 6. There's a 1 in 6 chance the British will die off. 50-50 chance they can kill that Mughal. All right, so they did manage. Gutsy odds, crazy stuff, but they did take Delhi away. So let's go ahead. That's it. That's the end, folk. That was the major invasion. Let's figure out what the British points are. We already figured out the Rajputs and that. Let's figure out their Raj points. So they occupy, including these factories, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their allies 7, 8, 9, and this one 10. And the empty ones 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They did. They got Maharaja by 1. So that's 2 points for them. Maharaja. In the game of Maharaja, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 empties. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Boom. Okay, interesting. 2 points for Maharaja. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factories, 3 coasts. That's the 9 points that we talked about. So 2 plus 9. So they did the best that they could, gaining points, but not eliminating points for the Mughals. So 5, 6, 7, 16, 80, 94. Right? Did I add that up right? 2 Raj. 2 2 Rajputs, no, 3 Rajputs, 2, 6, 5, 6, 7, plus 9, right? 2, 5, 6, 7, 16, 80, 94. Yep. All right, so yellow, again, they didn't lose factories. They got their 4, they got their 2, they got their 6 that we talked about. They are at 90. That's legit. Wow, this is close. This is so close. Big old blue did manage to score those big points for, well, it was no, we added all blue up yet. It was 5 for the Maharajas. They got Maharashtas. They got 3 for Maharashtra, 2 for Golconda. So that's 5. There's 2 French factories, 2 coasts. That's 4. That's the 9. Here. 9. That's the 91. All right. But Muslims. I didn't count the Muslims though, right? Right. That did not count the Muslims. Marathas, 3, 4, 5. Muslims, didn't get my sir. South India, 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 12, 94. I miscounted that. Sorry, folks, but the Brits maybe should have tried to get at least 1 point. Yeah, so they didn't get any points here, the Muslims, right? These armies here did not score. So they could have killed those that weren't scoring points. Those 3 guys did. But man, they hit here. Wait, was that where was the Muslims here? Or no, that was the Mughals. The Mughals were here and they were there. They were not able to beat the French. The French actually tied with them. So they could have put that in their consideration too. They didn't. But boy, they died egregiously on the Mughals. So that leaves us with the green guys, adding up their points. They got 1 Raj point. Let's do them last. Portuguese, once again, they did lose a factory, right? So they did lose that factory. They have 2 factories, 2 coasts, 4 points. We got 1 point, 4 points. We got 1 point for the Raj points that the Mughals scored. But Andhra, 3, they kept it. Delhi, they did not. Oud, 3 points, they kept it. That's 6. Berar, Bidar, they did not. Gondua, they lost that. So that's kind of important. They did lose 5 there. And those points from the thing. So this is closer than I thought. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Other places, the Portuguese don't count that. It's the Mughals. So we already counted that. Oud already got 3, right? Right. I'm not messing it up here. Where the Mughals? Keep on the right guy. Andhra and Oud, 6 points total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So 11. So they got 11 points for scoring those points. I was saying that they need to cut about half. Did I miscalculate? For 15, 16. Oh my God, they missed by 1 point. I miscalculated. It was enough to score just under the 20. 16, 80, 93. What a brawl. What a brawl. Did I do that right? 4 points, factories, because they did lose 1. That cost them a point there. the Mughals, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The fact that they lost Delhi cost the Mughals the game. The British managed to pull out a tie against the French. If they had tried to make the blue player lose something, they would have failed. They would have not been able to succeed. They would have not been able to do both. So turns out, in retrospect, they pulled out a tie that they wouldn't have been able to do. They rolled really bad, but it did what it mattered. They were able to take Delhi. You know, they tried a really high risk attack here. It failed, but they made it to Delhi. They took out Gujarat. That was enough points to drop them down. 90 for the yellow, 93 for the green, 94 each for blue and purple. All right, that is a majestic ending. That was Maharaja, turn 16, Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. Now getting towards late evening. This is almost exactly an hour video. So I want to thank you all, people that have been following along. I know it's a lot of videos. I'm sure there's very few, if any of you, that have watched them all yet. Certainly, this one's not posted yet. But hopefully you enjoyed it, learned something. I know some of you have decided to go out and buy the game. Who knows? Maybe I'll get another copy and I'll do a giveaway. And we'll give away a copy of Maharaja or something. So that was one of my games for 10 games for the year for the War Room and Tack Up Gaming Facebook group. I've got a bunch more games to finish before the end of the year. Next one, I am going to do Genesis from GNT, a Richard Berg design. I'm going to do a shorter scenario, a shorter game. It's the Hittites versus the Egyptians, and I have to finish reading the rules. I'll try to start that before the end of the week. So I'll let you know when that comes up, and I'm going to post a list of all the other games after that I need to play by the end of the year, and let you guys vote. I'll put a video explaining. I think I can put a poll in the community section of YouTube on my channel, and you guys can say, hey, which games do you want to see next? So once again, Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness, majestic end to Maharaja. Take care, everyone. Hope you have a good holiday times at Thanksgiving for those here in the U.S. that celebrate Thanksgiving. Obviously, that's a couple weeks away, but take care, y'all. Ciao.